LeBron James, John Wayne, Sami Zayn, Wolves in 6, take it to the bank. Now, I can't lie, I was actually doubting the Wolves a little bit before the series started, and I'm not gonna go ahead and assume that we've won yet because it's not over yet. But I will say waking up on a Monday morning being up 3-1 on the Lakers and beating LeBron James and Luka 2 games in a row, I mean, that's a pretty uplifting feeling. I do want to say I'm disappointed by the amount of fighting and bantering I'm seeing online. Like, we are getting to watch an electric series featuring what many describe as the greatest basketball player of all time. LeBron James is good too, don't get me wrong. But just sit back and watch, man. Enjoy the show. I will say I've never had a love-hate relationship with a player like Dante DiVincenzo, though. It's unbelievable the highs and lows I go through with that guy. But as of now, we are on good terms. Anyway, what is going on, guys? Welcome to my NFL draft reaction video. I should actually say our draft reaction. The reason I say ours is because, not only will I be reacting to a lot of the picks, but I'm going to be reacting to yours on Twitter. I figured there's going to be certain teams that I wouldn't really have much to say about other than, oh, they did good, so why not show what some actual fans of fan bases have to say about their stuff. Couple of plugs before we hop into it. Don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel, Waggle, Golf, or Prize Picks. By using my codes on G Fuel or Waggle, you'll save a discount on any of their products, and by using it at sign up on Prize Picks, you're going to guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 entry. But that's all I got for plugs. Let's get into the reactions. Okie dokie, everybody. So here's the tweet I made saying this, let's hear your NFL draft reactions and takes, and there's my handle if you want to follow me to participate in future Twitter videos. Suppose right away, just to give my reaction on the Bills, I'm very happy to see what they did. It's just I really hope they drafted for talent instead of just speed for Maxwell Hairston. It's not that I don't like the guy, it's just I don't know much about him, I'm not huge into college. But if he's a good corner, man, I'm not gonna complain. Very happy they picked up an edge in the 3rd round. They got a couple of DTs, including an absolute damn monster in the 4th round with Deion Walker. My dad was legitimately upset. He wanted the Vikings to draft him very badly. Now, as far as the later picks, I don't really have too much to say, but I am a little bit intrigued by Caden Prather. That's the 7th round, I believe, receiver that they drafted. He's just a big dude. He's like 6'3". So it'd be cool to see if he could possibly develop into a target for Josh Allen. But yeah, overall, Bills, thumbs up from me, of course. So first take we have is from Nick here. He just says Shedeur will start for the Browns at one point next season, and I just wanted to react to this because I think Shedeur is going to be one of the biggest topics. I have a couple things to say on my reaction to that. For one, I think it's extremely fucked up that somebody prank called him. It was actually, I think, Saints DC's kid that got his number. Maybe he wasn't even on the Saints, but it was a defensive coordinator's kid that somehow got Shedeur's number from like an iPad. Prank called him saying he was going to get picked by the Saints and then said, never mind, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Like, that was messed up after the guy had been waiting for a couple days, I think, at that point. But that aside, I wasn't exactly sad to see him fall as far as he did. I think it was kind of like an unsaid rule by the entire league to kind of humble that guy out a little bit. It doesn't matter how good you are, and some people really do think Shedeur is good, and some people don't think he's very good. My take, I mean, any clip I've ever seen of the guy, obviously, he looks elite. But you cannot go around acting as openly arrogant as Shedeur Sanders. Nobody wants that baggage, dude. And his dad's not helping either. Actually, if I heard right, Shiloh Sanders got drafted after he kind of cut his dad off from being his agent. Like, I do imagine at some point this will end up being a very good pick for the Browns, very good value. It's just kind of funny to see a guy who, made a documentary about his draft day and had his own little draft booth with Legendary on it and all the hats sitting around for him to pick, and he didn't even end up getting drafted till like the 3rd day. Kinda humorous. Moving on from Rick Grimes here, he says the Giants had a really fun draft and I'll like to see how they develop. I mean, I do like the Abdul Carter pick, but I don't know about the Jackson Dart, man. I kinda get a Daniel Jones vibe out of that pick. Now, granted, it does look like Jackson Dart is throwing a lot more than Daniel Jones ever threw in college in terms of yardage and I think touchdowns too. But he was just one of those names that when I heard it, I was like, that's who they traded up to get? Like, I just don't know if this was the class to try and make a move after Cam Ward got picked. But I could be wrong. One's from Jake. He says Caleb Johnson will be a top 10 running back by the end of next season. I did look into that guy because after he got picked, my friend texted me saying they're not going to regret dropping Najee anymore, or not that they would ever. He wasn't a Najee fan, but this guy does look like a fucking beast. 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns last year in college. Steelers also got, they got Will Harmon in the 1st round, and then they got Will Howard late. He's the quarterback out of Ohio State. And I gotta say, I think them drafting a quarterback was obviously incredibly important considering their room is terrible, but I have a very bad feeling that Will Howard is going to win the starting job, and then Aaron Rodgers is going to conveniently go, I want to play now, and then everything is going to get fucked up. Steelers really appeared to beef their D-line this draft, though, so good on them. One's from Jake Flowers. He says Browns won the Jags trade, and he's obviously referring to when the Browns traded down to 5 with the Jags so the Jags could get Travis Hunter. I mean, they did give up a boat for him. It was obviously a swap to a first this year, a first next year, I think the second out of this year, and another pick. Realistically, it all depends on Travis Hunter, man. If he's really good and he's the player he was in college and he can actually play, you know, both sides of the ball, that's going to be insane. But obviously his health is going to come into a big concern on that too, and I'm not sure if he's injury prone or not. Tell you this, I like Travis Hunter as a Jag 10 times more than I like him as a Brown. This one's from Adam's Post. He says Matthew Golden was the best value pick. You know, I've seen a ton of Matthew Golden tweets, and I gotta be honest, every single one are from Packer fans. Like, I'm seeing nobody else talking about this guy. I'm happy to see that the Packers finally reached out and got a receiver in the first round. That's awesome. But when I looked up this guy, I was expecting to see some like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson numbers. The guy never caught more than 58 receptions, never broke 1,000 yards, never had 10 touchdowns in college. Now, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, he can't be good, but as for much as you guys are hyping up this 5'11", 190-pound receiver, I think you're a little bit nuts. Kristen says Panthers win the division. I don't know about that, but I do think, and I'm gonna butcher his name, Tetoria McMillan? He is gonna be very good for Bryce Young. That's the guy that in like week 1 last year, he had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. This guy's 6'5", he's like 220 pounds too. Like, Bryce can't miss him. If he somehow does, well, Bryce got a lot bigger problems then. Saw they also got Trevor Etienne, Travis's brother. That's a little bit weird. You don't need him. Like, I don't know what the point was. This one's from Evan. I just wanted to talk about the Bengals because he says the Bengals once again reach way down in the draft when they didn't have to. The Bengals didn't get a single person for their fucking secondary in the draft. I don't understand the thought process. Closest thing they got was a damn linebacker. Like, did they not think they need help? If I was a fan of Cincinnati, I would be legitimately annoyed after the draft. I'm not saying they took a big L or anything. They might have, but I don't think they had a big W. Moving on to the Vikings, you know, the other team I support, and for my Minnesota homies, I gotta say, I'm not exactly motivated by their draft. They didn't have a ton of picks, as you can see, they only had 5. But I don't think anyone they got is gonna show any, like, immediate improvement to the team. I mean, obviously, Donovan Jackson would be the best shot at doing that, but we just beefed up our O-line the way it was. I don't think Ty Felton will play, unless that means we're getting rid of Jalen Naylor, which my dad would throw a damn party. And obviously, I shouldn't have said Ty Felton won't play. He's gonna play. The Vikings are gonna use someone they drafted in the 3rd round, but obviously, behind Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson, how much are you gonna see him? I know nothing about Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. Kobe King, I actually heard, is decent, but the Vikings have good linebackers, and Gavin Bartholomew, welcome to the squad, I guess, buddy. I guess we can say one thing about Kwesi, though. He did put his stocks into protecting JJ with his fucking life this offseason. Xander here says the Chiefs won the draft overall, drafted for all their needs at great value, especially in the later rounds. Now, I'm not denying this. They did have a good draft, but I think the same can be said for Buffalo. I think the same can be said for Arizona. Baltimore had a great draft. I think the Bears were very good. The Broncos were very good. A lot of teams actually did, you know, what they needed to do in terms of filling voids instead of just taking stupid chances. Jennings Moose says Mario Williams gonna break out on the Rams at the end of the season with 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, I love to see it. I always support my Tulane boys. They've got 3 pretty decent running backs there now, and one of them is clearly better than the rest. This one's from Ricky White. He says, from a Hawks fan, the Cowboys had an amazing draft. I didn't hate their draft. They got that tackle in the 1st, and then they got Jaden Blue in the 4th or 5th. He's a running back out of Texas. Hasn't played a ton, doesn't have a ton of carries or anything, but he does show that he is very productive, and he can also catch the ball. He had over 300 receiving yards this last year. Also 6 touchdowns, don't let it get confused. So we just gotta hope he can beat out Javonte Williams, which if he can't beat out Javonte Williams, you guys wasted a pick because Javonte Williams is the worst running back in the league. This one's from Roshimer. He says Quinn Ewers will be starting for Miami by weeks 5 or 6. I'm not sure about that. I was actually really surprised to see how many quarterbacks fell. This seemed like a really hyped up class last year and then just didn't end up turning out to be the quarterback class everyone thought it was gonna be. Who was the other guy that I kept hearing a lot about? Dylan Gabriel, and he's actually on the Browns too, which is weird because now they have him and Shador. One of those two are gonna get cut or traded. But Quinn's another guy, man. He was like a cover athlete for the football game last year or something. Fucker's draft room was also inside of a Cabela's. I don't know if anybody saw that. There was more deer mounts there than I've ever seen in my life. And ending, I just want to talk about the Titans, and I know this was a shorter reaction video. I'll probably end up doing more later this week when I have time. But the Titans, I think they did actually very well. I like, obviously, the fact that they go ahead and get the safest and best pick in the draft at Cam Ward. But then they went to pile on some defense, getting an edge and a corner, and then attacked offense in 3 straight rounds, getting a receiver, a tight end, another receiver, and then they actually ended the draft with a running back. Now, obviously, I think it's very important they went out and got Cam Ward, like I just said, but I think it's even more important that they're already showing him, hey, we're going to try and get you some new weapons. We don't want you to just come and play with the same fucking mess that's been here the last couple of years. You know, they got to try and change the culture a little bit, and I think that they took a very good step in that direction. It's just, is he going to be good? Are the picks going to be good? Or are the Titans just going to continue to be the Tennessee Titans? And that is going to do it for my reactions for now. Like I said, I'll probably end up doing more. This was a quick video, but I'm a little short on time today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the draft and if you're happy or mad. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. Enjoy Monday Night Raw tonight if you're a wrestling fan, and I will see you in the next video.